ロサンゼルスの地元放送局スポーツネット LA および FOX スポーツで実況を務めるジョー・デイビス氏が MLB ネットワークの番組内でスポーツエミー賞受賞の喜びを語りました。この賞は米国内の優れたスポーツ番組や中継、アナウンサーなどに贈られる権威ある賞です。デイビス氏といえばロサンゼルスドジャースの試合中継でおなじみの名物実況アナウンサーです。大谷翔平選手がホームランを放った際に響き渡るゴーオンヌという絶叫でも知られています。92年シーズンのナ・リーグ新人王で通算284本塁打のエリック・キャロス氏や通算204勝を挙げたオーレル・ハーシュハイザー氏といったレジェンド OB 解説者たちとコンビを組み数々のドジャース戦を伝えてきました。今回のインタビューでは大谷翔平選手についても言及されました。デイビス氏は
全く別次元の存在
と評し、その放つオーラや圧倒的な存在感について語っています。また NFL で攻守の二刀流選手として注目されたトラビス・ハンター氏に触れた上で、
大谷のプレーは今なお誰にも真似できない
と断言しました。このように大谷翔平選手への愛と敬意があふれるインタビューの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介いたします。
And award-winning broadcaster Joe Davis from the Los Angeles Dodgers and Fox Sports joins us now. Joe, thank you very much for the time. We were telling you in the break, congratulations on your Emmy win last week for Outstanding Personality Play-by-Play, a loaded category. What did that award mean to you?
Gosh, thank you, Robert. I said it when I went up there. I didn't have any speech planned, and I'm this obsessive preparer. I didn't spend any time on it.
In terms for a professional athlete, equated on your level, I was telling Robert, it was real interesting for me to be in that room, and that was your big leagues. Like your guys grind to the big leagues. For the former athletes in that room to watch you have that moment, like equate it for the people at home, what it meant to you.
Yeah. Okay. So I've done this for like the non-sports fans where they're like, have you won one before? And I tell them I've won best movie, but not best actor. You know, like best postseason series have had one. Man, from a sports perspective, I think it's more just the idea, Mark, of like you dream. You grew up dreaming of being a ball player. I grew up dreaming of being a broadcaster and calling the World Series. And to not just do that, but then have some validation like this that what I'm doing is well respected, and I don't know. It's just, it's really mind blowing. It honestly is.
Joe, you know it better than anyone that people think that they can do your job, especially ones that do it so well like yourself, because you make it and sound so easily. You succeeded Vin Scully, who is arguably the greatest of all time. Considering how revered he was and still is, how did you approach that when you became the Dodgers' lead television voice?
There were a couple things to it. The first thing was a lot of people said to me, like, you don't want that job. Why would you take the job to be the guy that takes over for the guy? But the way I looked at it was that's why I wanted the job. I couldn't picture 10 years from now, 50 years from now, having to sit there saying, what if I had taken it? I didn't because I was scared it wouldn't work, but what if? So it's why I wanted the job. And then once I took it, it was just try to be yourself and obviously learn from what makes Vin amazing and makes him, like you said, the greatest ever to do it, but to not, in his words, water your own wine. It's what Red Barber told him when he started in 1950. Do your thing, learn from the others, but be you and let that come through. So, learn from him, but tried to be myself. And then it helps that the team wins like 100 games a year. If they were losing 100 games a year, they would have run my tail out of town by now, but I'm delivering good news, so it's worked out okay.
Joe, game one of the World Series last year, I leave the ballpark around the sixth inning, go back to the hotel, and I'm laying in bed, and Freddie Freeman, a kid I've known him since he was 18 years old, gives me that moment. I'm starting to well up, and you had, hey, Freddie, hey, Gibby, meet Freddie, hey, Freddie, meet Gibby. What, did you, is that off the cuff? Were you prepared for that?
So it's like John and I had the Dodgers' whole October run, and so we'd seen him limping around the entire month, and you're starting to make that connection. Hobbled Dodger hero in the postseason, and he hadn't had any hero moments yet. But every day we're talking, man, is Freeman going to have his Kirk Gibson moment? So it was an easy connection to make, and then you go into there, and it's Game 1 of the World Series, as it was for Kirk Gibson. All those things kind of lining up to then get me to the moment where the ball is hit. And the craziest part, D-Row, was we've seen that exact ball flight a million times. It looked exactly like Gibby's home run, and I guess all those things put together helped that come out.
Joe, with your work on Fox Sports as being part of the football NFL Sundays, you and Greg Olson, that's a great booth, by the way. You get the chance to see and be up close next to some iconic, amazing athletes. Where does Shohei Ohtani rank on that list of all the great athletes that you have a chance to call games, call their action, things like that?
It's on its own level. Just the aura that he has about him. Obviously what he does, the stuff he does on the field, is like nobody can do that. And we haven't even seen the pitching part of it in LA yet. But just the aura around him. First of all, he's huge. I think there's something about his physical presence that you can't fully appreciate until you're next to him. And then just his aura, it separates him from anybody I've been around.
You're going to have a chance to presumably call Travis Hunter's games. Number 2 overall pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is a two-way player in football terms. How would you compare and contrast what Shohei is doing to what Travis Hunter is going to try to do at the NFL level?
Yeah, I like that. I think in baseball, they're different jobs, right? They're different positions in football, and that's amazing. Nobody does it. But they're different jobs. They're different disciplines in baseball. He's two players within one, and you can make that case with Travis Hunter too, and you should. He's spectacular. But I think what Shohei Ohtani does, it's still unmatched.
What does Joe Davis have for breakfast to get ready to call a big league ball game?
No, let's go. Let's talk nutrition.
Let's go.
Egg whites with spinach. Okay.
Right.
Start off with the protein. You don't want to put yourself on that metabolic roller coaster through the day. So get that protein in you, prime you for a good day of thinking and watching some big league baseball.
You coffee drinker?
Huge coffee snob, man.
Oh, I love that.
What's your order?
Just black coffee. We do pour-overs every morning. I actually travel on the road. I travel my own coffee kit, grind my own beans, and I'm ridiculous.
I'm outta here.
Yeah,
I mean, he's changing the game. He's changing the game.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you very much for spending a little time with us. Enjoy the game today, and we look forward to.
But this is what I found interesting. Watch the movement. That's a breaking pitch. Watch that fastball. Holy smokes. He's been working on something. That looks like a wiffle ball. So you wonder if Shohei's been throwing the ball at all? When you're on the flat ground, Al, you're the pitcher. All right, he is having a blast because he's come back with a new arsenal. He's been able to get more movement out of his pitches than I saw when he was a starter.
Did you see a split? I didn't see.
Yeah, it was a split. He threw some splits.
That last one was a split where he went. That was not a fastball.
He's thrown some splits, but I thought just when you have 2 years to play catch and you can fiddle with the ball, and now he's like, okay, now I can really kind of let you guys see what I'm doing. I saw movement I hadn't seen from him ever.
Poll question for hour 2 is going to be what, Seton O'Connor?
We got a couple of options here. Paul is very optimistic on Shohei Ohtani. He wants to know how many MVPs he ends his career with. 4, 5, 6, 7 plus.
Okay. Who has the most MVPs in baseball history?
Barry Bonds has 7.
7?
Nobody else has more than 3. There's like 7 guys in history that have 3. But if you could, Barry got 3 before the Giants and 4 with. So it's a dubious 7, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
So here's the point.
Asterisk.
I was thinking about Ohtani. How does he not win the MVP over the next few years? If you combine 50-plus home runs with a 300 average, that'll probably get it for you. And then you add in maybe a dozen starts or helping his team, and a great team that's always in the playoff picture. It's almost like betting against him winning the MVP would be a bad bet in the near future.
Yeah, I think he's got a built-in advantage if he does pitch. I mean, he's already going to put up offensive numbers. He just hit his 20th home run. He's homered in 3 consecutive games. We're not surprised anymore with that. I think coming back to pitch, and if he's going to be successful, how much do you use him? But what's Ohtani have, 3 MVPs now?
Yes, he has 3 in the past 4 seasons, and he finished runner-up once.
Okay.
Does he ever? He probably won't ever get the treatment that Giannis would get, or even Michael Jordan, because no one else does what he does.
Well, who would you compare him to? With those other players, like basketball players are putting up crazy stats now. And, everybody gets 20 points, it feels like. In baseball, not everybody is doing what Ohtani does. Now, guys hit a lot of home runs, but he's still hitting for average. He's helped out by being in the National League because Aaron Judge, the season that he's having in the American League. So there's only one MVP. They don't do one for the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and that's what baseball does. But I would be surprised if Ohtani doesn't end up with at least 5 MVPs. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, I was saying the same because if you look at it, there's a couple guys who pop up every year in the NL, but at the end of the day, when you get to the vote, you're going to have to create a reason to not vote for Ohtani.
Yeah.
And it's like the best story or some guy who comes out of nowhere. But
he can pitch. And if he's able to pitch, and I understand that he wants to pitch, and the Dodgers, love that novelty as well. I just wouldn't want to run the risk of another arm surgery. Then it takes the bat out of the lineup. Yes, Eden.
But is there something to like sort of the other side of that argument where he would have to be a great pitcher and a great hitter? Like he has to be sort of great in both respects. I'm not saying that he's not necessarily, but that's a high bar to keep up every year.
I would say he just has to be a good pitcher and a great hitter. Because I don't know if he's going to pitch enough to be a great pitcher. I think he can be a guy who maybe wins like 12 games. But I don't know how much you want to use him. Is a 5-man rotation? Is he a 6-man rotation? I don't. And plus, pitchers now are pitching 5 innings. So that's a little bit different with the wear and tear on him. But he's had a couple of, quote, procedures that would make me nervous. Yeah, Pauline.
Ohtani's last 3 years as a starting pitcher, and he only started about 25 games a year. He was 9-2, 15-9, 10-5. He was like a B+. His stats were very good. His ERA was very good, but he didn't have enough starts to get to 20 wins, but it helped him get the MVP.
If he gets between 10 and 15 wins, and he's Ohtani at the plate, I don't know how anybody can come close to him as far as the MVP.